Welcome to another My Outlander Purgatory recap. This week, we end our Season 7 Part 2 coverage with a recap of the season finale, 100,000 Angels. Ready? Then pour yourself a wee dram, settle in, and let's do this. Hi everyone!
Hi everyone.
I'm Tracey.
I'm Carol.
And we are My
Outlander
Purgatory! Carol, how are you this fine weekend?
I'm really good.
This fine
Tracy.
long weekend.
Thank you for asking. I am awaiting possible snow. I don't really know.
We're supposed to be we're in the middle of a snowstorm here in the Jers, you guys. And we were told like between 5 and 7 inches. And so my husband got the snowblower all up and running. It's all good. And I don't even think the driveway is covered yet.
Are you still looking at that much? We're barely looking at an inch at this point. It's gone like this. Watch me get five. I don't know.
I can't. There's not going to be 5 inches of snow on the ground because it's supposed to stop tonight. But anyway, I don't know. If you're in the Jers or the surrounding area, I think Pennsylvania maybe has a little more, but
they do.
Yeah. So, and I'm not complaining because I don't like the snow. Sorry, it's pretty sucky.
Move south. Move south with me. Let's go. Let's snowbird, sister.
Yeah. Did you want to ask me what I was drinking first, or
Tracey, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I'm being a little boring. I'm taking this season out, as I have many an episode this year with the Ironbound Highlander cider. We're doing our recording so early in the day. I mean, this isn't that early, like it's just 5 o'clock now. But
Right.
We've been doing our recording so early in the day that it's like kind of a glass of wine is for like the evening or dinner or whatever. So it's kind of weird in the afternoon drinking a glass of wine. So I like the cider. There you go. Carol, what about you?
You know what? You sort of not inspired me, but I'm having my little two chicks. I didn't really feel like getting like like you said, I just wasn't. Oh, let's be honest, I was too lazy to go out in the garage and get a new bottle of wine. So
I know. We also drank. We went out last night. We went into the city, as they say, because I got John a cooking class for his birthday. So we took the cooking class, and then he's a big Commanders fan, Washington Commanders, and they're in the playoffs. So we went and found a bar in Manhattan that's like sort of a Commanders bar, and watched the full game. And if you watched it, it was a great game. Commanders won. But we drank some beers and like somebody bought us a round of beers, which was fun. Some guy we were talking to. Isn't it the best when you're at a bar and someone buys you a round of drinks? Like, isn't it the best? It never happens.
it never happens. Yeah, usually it's either someone I know or like somebody who's a little too drunk, and I'm like, I don't even want to accept this. I'm not going home with you, buddy.
It really doesn't happen that often. And like, but when it does, I find for us, it's just like random people we're talking to at the bar. And they're like, yeah, they're rounds on me, like whatever. It's a nice thing. It's a nice pay it forward, you guys. Next time you're at the bar, just like buy a round of drinks.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes. I did not go out last night, but I did go out yesterday and wanted to mention, because these guys might like to hear, that I was at the Lambertville Station Inn with 3 of my girlfriends from college. We all met in the middle, and that is down the street from Washington's Crossing.
Yep, where George and
Delaware.
company crossed the Delaware.
Yep, very cool.
Jamie Fraser was not among them. Neither was Ian.
We could always just change that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sure they were somehow. We just didn't hear about it.
All right. So Outlander season 7 part 2 is officially in the books. And it went out with a bang. Would you not say?
We got to keep faith, Tracey.
Funny because when I post these videos, like, and I post a little, like, at, like, our recap is up or whatever on, like, TikTok and Instagram, I would just post a screenshot of us, but I always, like, put a song on it too. And some days I'm like, try to make this to the music sort of related to the episode in some ways. And there are weeks where I'm like, the hell? What can I put here? Like, what ties in? This week is really easy.
I can only imagine.
This week is really easy.
Little George.
Um, we say, yeah, uh-huh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. There's also some journey, could do a little faithfully.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think George is gonna be the one. Um, this episode was all sorts of cray.
It was all over the place.
It was all sorts of cray.
And different people made me cry. Like I was like,
Yes.
kind of didn't expect to cry where I was like real crying, like you're doing something and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I have tears coming down my face.
Um, there was a lot, I mean, there were a lot of really good conversations in this episode.
Yeah.
I feel like at one point I think I was thinking of you and I was like, Carol's probably watching this just like, oh, for the love of all that's holy, can we just please stop talking about death and dying and like go to the next season and like have some
100%.
intrigue?
This season was so not hard, not easy for me and anybody like me. But dear Lord, the last episode, every 5 minutes, oh, we get it. You would be devastated. You don't know how you get up in the morning. We got it. You would just get up, okay? Claire, calm down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So we should get to it. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? There was a really, really good article in Parade on parade.com that was an interview with Diana that I know we're going to talk about because she had some interesting stuff to say. It's
Love
a great
it.
read for everybody
Love it.
should to but when we get to the end of this. Did you like the episode?
That's a question I have asked myself numerous
Yeah.
times. Like
Yeah.
it was very, I don't want to say disjointed because that sounds negative. There were many different compartments in this episode, and some of them I really liked, and others, There, it's hard to say this episode was really good when this episode had 40 million parts to it. How about you?
That's pretty accurate. I mean, I think for the most part I really did like this episode, but like I'm struggling with the faith stuff. I really am. And we'll get into it, but I don't know that there's ever been a season finale of Outlander that you're just like,
What the F? Mm, yeah. Mm.
but okay. We'll get into it. All right, are we ready?
I thought Fanny was Oliver.
I don't think Faith is Oliver. I mean, Fanny is 100% Oliver. I'm
Oliver.
sorry.
Yeah.
100% cousin
Yeah.
Oliver.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting too big. Jemmy's grown like about a foot in, between season part A and part B.
Oh yeah.
We need to go back to some like little kids, whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100% a cousin Oliver. Faith, I don't know.
Well, I was trying to figure out Claire. How old would Faith be?
Faith would be old enough to be their mother. Yes. Yes. Because Jane was probably what? 20 tops?
Well,
19?
wait though.
18?
Didn't Claire go back in the Stones in 1743? And then she went back to Frank in 1746. So now you're talking 17 so 40
Yeah, so Fanny would have been like
third.
Fanny, if say Fanny was born in 1745, right? And it's 17
Fanny.
not Fanny, Faith.
Faith.
Say Faith was born in 1745. Okay.
50, 60, 70. She's 30.
No, she's like 30. She'd be like 37.
It's 8. Okay. What?
She'd be like 37, right?
75.
And actually, she'd be older than that. Well, how old is Bree?
Okay.
You could do it from there.
She would have been 30 in 75, and right now it's what, 78? So she's like 33. Jane is, could a 33-year-old have Jane?
Yeah, if she had her at
How
16,
old was
17.
Jane? How old was Jane?
Jane was like 18,
All right.
right? And Fanny's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
10.
yeah. Okay.
Maybe Jane is even 17. No, that she absolutely could have had her at that age. No, because I was doing that math too. But I also think that she's a little older. I don't, it's 17. I don't know. Because
Did I?
she would have to be, wait. She would have to be at least a year and a half older than Bree, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Bree's just not that old, and I just keep thinking that she's like 35, but maybe she's not. Maybe she's, you know what? Bree is probably closer to 30.
Well, such a world-renowned inventor, you would think she was a lot older than she is.
Bree is
Uh,
probably closer to 30, yeah. So, no, I did do that math, and it does check out. I will say that. It does check out. But, like, what doesn't check out is that Faith was dead.
Faith was
Was
dead in
really
front
most
of our
sincerely
faces.
dead. You guys, Claire's a nurse. She understands what dead is. Like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and we could go there now if you want. Like, we could like break this down a little bit if you want.
Why the frick
Like,
not? Let's get crazy. Why? Maybe Faith, maybe the baby she was holding was not Faith.
well, that is some speculation is going on there. Um, I'm just like,
But she was singing to that baby. She was singing that
right.
song
Like
from
how
the
like
40s
that's
or whatever.
there's so it's so the whole thing is just like got holes the size of,
Okay.
Texas in
Okay,
it.
wait. Did you, when you talk about Diana and the interview, was it about this?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear, tell us.
Okay.
Let's just do
All
it.
right.
Tell us about
We rarely start we
from
rarely
the
play from
end.
as much as I say when I'm playing Wordle, which I love, and I've played actually I've played 1,000 something games straight because I know half my stats. But I play from the back, right? I don't ever try to get the first letter. I try to get the back letters because there's less of a choice there. So let's play from the back, as I like to
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Okay. Let's read this. Where'd it go? Okay. Diana Gabaldon weighs in on the shocking season 7 finale. Okay. If you're a book reader like
Okay.
me and not just a TV watcher. Oh, and by the by, for all the just TV watchers, this ending is there is a moment in the books. I feel like maybe you've gotten to it, Carol, in book 9, where
No.
like Fanny is showing Claire a locket with her mother's picture and it says Faith on the back. That's in the
Yeah, I
books.
might have seen that.
It's in book 9. That's it. That ending is not from the books. Okay. Here we go. So, it hinted that baby Faith didn't die in France, and that Master Raymond, who was prominent in season 2, had something to do with the mystery. No part of the ending is from the books, save that Francis's mother's name was Faith. Was Faith. Diana Gabaldon says. Um, Yada yada yada. In the book, soon after Fanny comes to live with the Frasers, she shows Claire her tiny cache of possessions, including a locket with an indistinct miniature of a woman with dark brown hair and the name Faith engraved on the cover. Maybe that did happen in book 8. I think maybe it did. So if the series changed the when and the where, it does take place in the books. Also, according to Gabaldon, they totally made up the use of the song "I Do Like to Be Beside the Seaside" in season 2 and reused it here. So they like made up some song or whatever. She indicates it will come into play in the prequel, Outlander Blood of My Blood, but it's too early to talk about that. Then this is what she says. I agree that the ending of 716 is flat out weird.
Yeah.
Partly owing to their evidently having exhausted their budget, Gabaldon continues. They could have made a more convincing visitation by Master Raymond with blurry special effects rather than just having him walk through the door and stand there. Better to have kept it soft focus and leave it up to question as to whether he'd actually been there or perhaps Claire imagined or dreamed the whole thing. But easy for me to talk, I don't have to figure out the logistics. And I agree with her 1 bajillion%. It was just really, 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 really weird to have him be like, here I am, and then like take off his thing, like Luke Skywalker or a vampire or whatever. Um, then she adds parenthetically, I'm frequently pleased that I can do things easily in a book that are incredibly difficult, not to say expensive, to do in a visual medium. She clearly emailed all this to them because this is her, this is like such the like Diana responding to a question in writing with the like stream of consciousness Diana-ness. It's so great. Um, a book is a remarkable. That's not to say that Master Raymond showed up in this manner in either whatever. Okay. That said, Gabaldon did have some input into the idea, and maybe something similar will show up one day in one of the Outlander spin-off novels she writes, like the Lord John Grey series, especially if she does a book featuring Master Raymond, who is an interesting character, or if she
Which she
changes her
always
mind.
wanted to.
I know. Or if she changes her mind and maybe does a second graphic novel. The first one, The Exile, an Outlander graphic novel, features Jamie Fraser. Then she says, they actually did get the general idea from me, though, she admits. When chatting with showrunner Matt Roberts about all things plot-wise, I mentioned that if I had written a second graphic novel, I didn't for for assorted reasons, I would have shown what actually happened after Faith's presumed death at the Hospital des Anges, and why Master Raymond resuscitated and nurtured the baby secretly, but wasn't able to come back with her before Claire and Jamie left France. So they liked that idea and ran with it. So it sounds like it's based on something that Diana was like, yeah, I was kicking this idea around once. And they're like, okay. Like,
And she said they ran with it.
okay. And then then she's just talking about other things, like whatever, da, 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 like whatever. So that's the gist of the interview. So this is not something that's in the Outlander books. Um, I don't love it, I gotta say. I don't love it.
Okay, I have a question. Refresh
Yes.
my memory. You know who I am. I forgot the most ridiculous thing last week that I'll mention later. In season 2,
Uh-huh.
did they have the scene where Claire was dying and losing faith and Master Raymond did the same thing? Like showed
Yes, to
up.
her hoo-ha. Like did some sort of thing, remember?
Now, did they
And
do
like
that in the
with the blue
show?
light and stuff?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
I'm wondering. They did that in the show.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I was wondering if this was sort of like oh, that was cool. We never did that, so let's do it now. Like he just showed up through the tent. Hey, not the tent, but you know,
And yeah,
hi.
at that point, he's like, "Hey, sorry, I kidnapped your daughter, Ricky."
Sorry, yeah, yeah. Sorry. But we'll see you again.
So, like, I mean, like, I don't love it. Like, so of the many thoughts running through my head is, doesn't that make Master Raymond to be kind of a dick? Like,
Kidnapper. Clearly, if this is the storyline they're running with, took her to modern
the
day, not modern
tower.
day.
This is like it's like the witch in
Took her,
Into the Woods. If
took
anybody's
her
seen
like,
Into the Woods, this is like poor Faith is like Rapunzel. The witch steals Rapunzel,
yeah.
locks her in a tower, and makes her stay there like her whole life.
Um, it's like Tangled. Okay, so took her through the stones or something because she knew a 1940s song. What year was that? I don't know
Well,
what year.
no, she knew the 1940s song because Claire was singing it to her when she was a dead baby.
Come on now. I just
I
figured
know. Look, I get you. I got you. Like it's
I figured
ridiculous.
because Raymond is Raymond not a time traveler?
Yes, he's a time traveler.
Okay, so I figured maybe, my brain, it goes, I've been running wild with this. I'm like, all right, maybe Raymond tried to find Claire, found out that Claire went back through the stones to her own time, to Frank, and followed her with the baby, tried to find her, and the baby, maybe the baby spent some time and then traveled back and had Jane and Fanny. It's a lot. I know. I'm
I
just
just
throwing stuff out there.
like when Diana in that article is saying like, or that article was saying like, Master Raymond like, brought the baby back to life, but then like couldn't get the baby back to Jamie and Claire because they had already left France. Dude, you just brought a baby back to life. You can't like find Jamie and Claire in Scotland and bring the baby to them?
I know.
Like, what kind of nonsense is that?
And think about if they're going to go with this storyline, Jane. Dear God.
That William was shipping his niece, Jane.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
My God. Oh my God. Like, and here's
Oh, I was
I
just gonna say, like, they just lost Jane, and Jamie and Claire like feel bad for William, and they're like, oh, this poor woman, that's terrible. Meanwhile, it's your granddaughter.
like here's where okay. You know how I can't believe we haven't talked about any of this episode, but like so much to say about this part, and that's what everyone wants to hear. They're like, can't believe, you guys like gave me that. You haven't said what do you have to say? Like, does everything have to be magical and mystical? That's what I want to know. Like, does everything have to be like, what if you don't do any of this faith bullshit, right? But you still have Claire hearing Fanny singing. Fanny, she goes in and Fanny's singing like a Beatles song. Or,
Well, that's like, what's his name? That already
like
happened.
some sort, yeah, I mean, maybe not Beatles because what's his name did that. Some other like You Are My Sunshine. Okay. Yeah, it's a
Judas
good one.
Priest.
That's a good one. You Are My Sunshine. And like, oh, my mother used to sing it to me. What that to me just cut out all the faith part, but leave the part where Fanny is connected to time travel in some way. To the point where like Fanny doesn't even know that she's connected to time travel in some way. It builds a connection to Claire. Like, is she related to us? Like, does she clearly, well, her mother had the gene. Who was her mother? You know, it just like, I'm kind of like, leave the Faith storyline be.
Right.
Leave Faith
Right.
alone.
Okay.
You
Sorry.
know?
Okay. 100%. And you're touching on why it's bothering me. Number one, it's faith. This is a very delicate subject with Outlander fans. It always will be. It's faith. It was a terrible, terrible situation.
Right.
Jamie and Claire were apart. It was horrifying, something we had to get through, and we'll never quite get over it. And now you're gonna open these old wounds and like mess around with this. That's what's so creepy about it. And I forgot the other part.
Right. Well, and then again, like if you tell me Faith lived and Master Raymond knew about it, game over for Master Raymond. I mean, like, yeah, you tell Jamie that. Jamie's gonna go like find him and like F him up. You know? Master Raymond's gonna wish that he like got it as easy as Lord John, you
And
know?
do we know whatever happened to Jane's mother? Have we ever heard
No,
about
she just
their
died.
mother?
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. That's the other part of it. Is like, even if this is all true, and Faith is brought back to life, and
Mm,
has these two girls, Master Raymond, like, raises her,
mm.
has these two girls. Claire never knows about it. It's not like she's still alive. She's still dead. She's still dead. So, like, what does
Because
this
he's
do?
not
What does this
dead.
change? What is it like? What is it like? Why is it important? Like what? Like I don't get the point. I don't get the point. And I
Is
just feel like if you wanted to introduce Fanny and a connection to time travel there are other ways to do it without like busting out this whole faith thing that just
but why
makes
are
no
they
sense. And it seems that it just creates like problems for everyone.
true? But do I not know because I haven't finished 9 yet why they would be introducing time travel and Fanny?
Not that I remember.
Okay, so all I can think of is that are they trying to build more of a familial relationship between Fanny and Jamie and Claire? Are they really trying to solidify her Oliverness and make her one of the fam? Are they trying to explain away that she's how much they care for her, like that she's
But there are
not
other
just
ways to do
somebody?
that.
Right, I agree. I agree. I'm
There's
just
other ways to do that.
Tracy, it's
There's
so
just
cockamamie. I can't figure out why it's being done. But let's remember, what are we on now? 7. Season 8 it has already been filmed.
right.
So we don't know what's coming in season 8. We don't know where they've messed with things. We don't know. Also, it's all what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
could be going anywhere with this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I mean, that's for everybody that was like dying to know our reaction. That's our reaction. I, maybe it's gonna like have a point in season 8, but I just
Yeah.
kind of I'm like, it's just really like I don't understand. I don't understand why they went in this direction, other than to be like, oh, that's cool and like mystical and magical and like
And she was their
all like
child. You
I
don't
don't.
mess with that.
And then also, it's like, okay, once again, Brianna gets the short shift. The short shrift. Remember her in the reunion when it was like, okay, Jamie, here's your daughter. And Jamie's like, oh yeah, it's great. Okay, so I have a son and he's awesome.
When she was in, wait, is this the show or the books you're talking?
The show, no, the books, that was like, that's possibly the best scene in the books.
When
That is the scene that
she was in
everyone was
her
like,
pants.
oh my God, here we go. I'm gonna like, where's the tissues? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Wait, what? What just happened? Did Jamie like throw the picture on the floor and start talking about William? Like, what?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was sad. Yeah, that's great. Do you mind that she got her ears pierced? I don't give a shit.
But again, it's like, okay, you know, look, like, we'll see what happens with Brianna and Roger and if they make it back there. But like, I mean, can you imagine if they show up at the Ridge and they're gonna be like, "Oh, Bree, it's so good to see you. Guess what? You have a sister." And it's all about her now.
I don't
Bree's gonna be
get
like,
it.
I can't,
Here,
like,
I
I
have a
don't get it.
question. Is season 8 going to be split like season 7?
Okay, I have thought
Before you
that.
say that, here's my response. Please, Jesus Lord, no. Don't do that.
I have said yes, but things I've read, like other speculation is like, and it's true. Like, there's only 10 episodes, so how do you do it? Do you go 6 and 4? Do you go 5 and 5? I mean, I would say
Why
that
do you do
that
it?
I would imagine that Starz wants ratings. So, and they want ratings spread out over, they want like if they do it all in one chunk, like in one season,
Yeah.
they only have that opportunity to bring in or introduce one thing. Whereas if they have two chunks, now we can promote our, next Sam Hewen show with chunk number 1 and our next prequel with chunk number 2. Like
Right.
maybe our, Lord John show, which, oh my God, Starz, Starz,
I
Starz,
was
Starz. Are
just
you looking at
telling
me?
I was just telling a table of women today at a baby shower. Like I was telling them about the Lord John books. And I was like, I really don't know why nobody's thought to do that, make those into a
You know what? Blood of my blood, schmud of my schmud. People.
I
I
mean, Blood of
want
My Blood's a great book. I even read that one. What is it?
it's Jamie's parents.
Oh,
That's gonna
right.
be a book sometime.
No, Brotherhood of the Blade.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, that's what that. So
Let me just let me just either cut that out or Blood of My Blood, blah blah, Brotherhood of the Blade, blah blah. That's where Carol's brain goes. So sorry, I got my
no.
B's wrong.
But what I want to say to Star, you were talking about. I mean, I typed it in here in my notes. There was just a point where I was like, "Can we please give Lord John a show?" I would
Dear
watch the shit out of that
God.
show.
Oh
I would
my
watch this.
God.
I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I mean, yeah, I'm sure that Blood of My Blood will be very good. But honestly, if you were like, okay, do you want a show about like Jamie's and Claire's parents or Lord John? I'd be like, are you even asking me that question
Oh
for
dear God.
real?
And
Like, why?
please don't make him like a cop from the 70s. Give him
No,
he
but like
must
that's Lord John in the Lord John books. That's what he does.
yeah,
He's like the Columbo of 1746 or
he's so good.
56 or whatever it
So
is.
so good. All right.
So after that little diversion, we'll just go back and start from the beginning here. So the episode is 100,000 Angels.
Oh my God,
Our
we're at the beginning of
writers
the
are
episode.
Matt Roberts and Tony Graffia. And our director is Joss Agnew, as was
Yes,
last
I
week.
did see that.
And our cold open is two girls who are clearly Fanny and Jane. It's a good thing that both of them have very distinctive hair.
Yes.
Otherwise, we might not have known that. They're skipping rounds in a field. They're so carefree. Clearly, this is before the life that ended them up in a brothel somewhere. Um, then you see another woman. They go, they hug her, and then there's a shot of a dragonfly.
Oh,
I know,
it's
I
just
know.
hitting me now because I forgot about the dragonfly in the beginning. But once you get to the end, oh, enough with the mystical. All right.
I know. I did like wear my little dragonfly earrings today, though.
Oh, cute.
Just for
Cute.
that. Just for that.
I
So,
love
okay.
dragonflies.
Then it's present day, and Jane is like sitting down for an exclusive interview with, the Revolutionary War Bugle. And little Jimmy Olsen is like, trying his best to get like stuff out of her. But Jane, no, 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 no. She is
She ain't
playing the
talking.
cray. She ain't talking. She's playing the cray well. Um, this was like sort of a weird scene. Like I was like clearly this is the kind of thing that would happen now. Like now, Diane Sawyer would go and like talk to, Ted Bundy on death row and like do the exclusive interview. But like back then, is like did it really work that way? I'm sort of curious. Like maybe it did. I don't know. But it
Like,
it it felt a little contemporary, this whole idea, even though they were getting into, issues or whatever that weren't contemporary. It did feel like, like I scored an interview with like Jane the murderer, the murderess, like hours before her execution. Like good on me. But Jane was great here. She's like, I'm only, sad. She's saying how her only regret is that he's dead because then if he wasn't, she could do it again. And I was like, I laughed a little bit because, like, again, we haven't seen this, but in the books, the broadsheet of the paper in the area, I think, is published by Fergus.
oh my God.
And I was like, Fergus didn't send little Jimmy Olsen down to go interview Jane, did he?
Wouldn't that have been great? Now there's a change I could have gotten behind. Freaking Fergus. Bring Fergus in to interview her. Let me tell
That
you
would be.
something, and I'm going ahead a little bit too. That was one thing that I was like, please change the ending. Please let Jane live.
Yeah, that's really funny you
100%.
should say that. I sort
Oh,
of
I
was
thought
like,
she's the breath of fresh air we've all been waiting for. Let her live.
I thought the same thing. I knew that she couldn't. Like there was just no way. But like, yeah, I really wish that she had. The actress's name is Sylvia Presente, and she's just amazing. She's a really, really good. But that Fanny is great too. I mean, good Lord, that little
Fanny
girl is
is
good.
like insanely for her age.
I know. I
Holy
know.
cow.
So good. Um, and yeah, like Clark Kent or Clark Kent, I called him Clark Kent in my notes, but like I like Jimmy Olsen better, even though he's not really a writer, but whatever. He's like, well, your sister might read this. Like, do you want her to read my words or yours? Douche, just go away. Give me
I
your little
know.
spectacles, just go away. Um,
Things
and our
haven't
Easter
changed
egg,
since the 18th century.
I know, I know. Our Easter egg is like the Easter egg fooled me a little bit because I think afterwards, after I watched the episode, I read somewhere it was like the Aurora Borealis lights.
I have Aurora
Um,
Borealis, Angel in the Sky written down.
right. But what I thought it was originally when I saw it was somebody coming through the stones.
Oh, I didn't get
Yeah.
that, but I just have Aurora Borealis, and then I'm like, it's an
I
angel.
thought it was like the little like weird coming through the stones light.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. All right. We're at the church. Surgery is done. Claire is still unconscious. Um, and Jamie does that speech about like, you told me that we have 8 pints of blood, and our blood is like, I wish I could give you some of mine because our blood is like mingled, and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, okay. So yeah, Sam is just gonna keep going on this like journey of like amazing acting in this episode, clearly,
Yes,
because
yes. I thought the same thing at one point. It wasn't that point, I don't believe, but I did think the same exact thing. He's really
um
evolved. Like this whole season, like, wow.
I mean, he's so good in this episode. He's so good, and he looks really good too. Like we'll get to it, but there's one moment where I had to write down like, "Damn, Jamie Fraser, you look fine." Um, and this all is from the books too. Like this whole spin. I mean, like clearly it is because it's just so well written and it's very like Diana-esque. But Claire basically is like, "All right, hold the phone. Yeah, I'm not dying today." Much like what you said.
Not
No, I'm not
today.
gonna do it. I'd like to because I feel like shit, but yeah, no, it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. Um, what happened to Jamie at Saratoga? Did he get shot or something? I totally forgot. Because they're all talking about Saratoga and like what he said, and now it's her turn, and I don't know. I don't remember.
Was that where were they when where were they when Ian and Rachel were in the tent?
I think that was Saratoga. You know what might have happened in Saratoga, and it wasn't in the books. I mean, it wasn't in the show. Is where he got wounded or something, or he hurt his hand again, and he was like, "Yeah, just take the fingers off."
Yes, you're gonna laugh. I'm just looking this up while you're saying that, and that's exactly what it is, where she had to amputate the finger.
Yeah, yep. But I don't think they. Well, clearly they didn't do that in the TV show since the scene's just fine.
Right, right,
Um.
right.
All right, we're off to the British camp. William needs Lord John's help, and he tells her about Jane. I love this scene so much. It's a teeny weeny little scene. It's a teeny weeny little scene. Lord John is like, I'll see what I can find out. But Lord John in the scene, he's just America's dad. He's just like the best dad. He's the best dad. He just looks at William. He is not judgy. He's like when William's like, she's a whore, but he barely gets the word "but" out. Lord John is like, no, 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 don't need to know anymore. It's not, he's just listens. He just listens to William. And he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do.
See, now you took that differently than I did.
Really?
I took that like Lord John was like, nope, don't need any of the details. Like, because I was thinking about it, like he's for all intents and purposes his father. He's known him since he was born, and he was like, okay, yep, he's a prostitute. Don't need to hear the deets.
Yeah, well, I totally read it as like, no, I'm not judging anything. Nope, 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 don't. No, I don't care. There is no but. It's just like, okay, that's whatever. But I mean, do you agree? He was just such a good dad.
I mean, of course, he's always a good dad, but I had not a problem with Lord John. And again, here we go with other, different practices in different centuries. But like, I really had a hard time with him being like, I'll do what I can, but like, the background of that, what the buried lead is, but she's a whore. No one gives a shit about her. And like, I'm going to do what I can for you, but no one's really going to be jumping through hoops to free this woman or help this woman. She's a whore. She doesn't
Well,
count.
that's true. But
But
I
I
don't
didn't get,
think I. I don't see it. Are you saying that you like blame him for saying that, or that it's
I
like
haven't finished
the
my point yet, which
okay, go
was,
ahead.
again, I'm not mad at Lord John. It's one of those times in Outlander where you just get annoyed at the past. And I was just like, here's this girl trying to raise her sister, trying to do whatever she can to make money to keep her sister safe in this world, doing something vile that clearly she's not like, woohoo, yeah, I'm a hooker. And meanwhile, it just struck me when he said, like, I'll do what I can. And he's right. There's not much I'm going to be able to do, but I'll try my best.
Right.
And it just struck me that, like, she has to do what she's doing, and they look down on her and judge her, and it's just disgusting. It's just,
I mean, I think that I don't think Lord John does. In fact, Lord
no, I'm
John,
not. I'm not. You got to get that
I
out of
know
your
you're not saying that.
head.
I know you're not saying that. I know you're not
I
saying it. You're saying
said
people
twice,
judge her.
I'm not blaming him. I'm not, this isn't about Lord John. It's about the time. And it's about, no one's going to give a shit about this hooker who killed
Right.
someone because she's a dirty, lowly hooker. And meanwhile, she's doing what she's doing to help raise her little sister and keep her little sister safe. And like they just are disgusted by her. You think she wants to be
Right. No,
doing this?
I agree with that. I agree
I
with
was
that.
annoyed.
Um, there are,
Which means it's a really good scene. It's a really good scene, and kudos to everyone in production because it got that out of me.
um, I don't know why, and I don't know where. Maybe I wrote it down somewhere. You know that I have a huge love fest with William, TV William, and I hate book
Uh,
William.
I was gonna
TV,
say, because I have a huge love fest with all Williams. I loved William in the book, so back it
uh,
up,
uh,
sister.
uh, TV William, this episode, there were one or two points where I was like, look, he has like the problems of Job cast upon him. But there were one or two points
I
where I
wrote
was
it
like,
down. I wrote down Job. I said,
you're starting to annoy me just a little bit, William. Just,
William is the new Job because I used to call Jamie Job. And now I'm like, oh my God, William is carrying on the tradition. He is Job.
I'm starting to get, I think, with William, where I'm starting to get the share snap out of it, feeling a little bit with William. There were one or two points where I was just like, William, you know what? Grow up. Like
Grow up.
you're starting to get on my nerves. You're starting to
Yeah.
get on my nerves, bro.
Yeah.
Just. But like, yeah, not here. I think he's asking for help. He's asking Lord John. It's not easy, and Lord John is like, I will do anything for you. You can ask me anything. Like
Right.
he was just such a dad. Ugh, I loved him so much. All right. Um, back to the church. Ian is back. That was some funny moment where Ian arrives back into town. Rachel's all like, Ian. Ian like jumps off his horse and like goes to like hug Rachel, but then Rollo is there. Rollo, I never remember Rollo. Um, and he's like, Rollo. Like Rachel's like, okay. I
I,
was like,
li-
Rachel's like,
I literally have Ian is back. William is okay. Rachel runs over to Ian, and Ian gives Rollo a more excited greeting than Rachel. He's like, oh, and then he's like,
and Rachel's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
whenever
okay,
you're
yeah,
ready, I'm here.
okay.
Oh my God, it was just very funny. It was very funny. Yeah, this is another thing I felt like. So they're filling Ian in on what happened to Claire, and Rachel's like, yeah, she should be able to walk in a day or two. It felt like it took a lot longer for her to be getting to walk than a day or two. I felt like she was
Right.
in that bed for about 2 weeks. Um,
Because knowing what we know now in life, I was like, oh yeah, get her up out of that bed. She got to get up out of that bed. But
I know.
then it was like, okay, a couple of days. Well, a week later, she still wasn't getting up out of that bed.
I know.
But then
This
another week later, if that, she was frolicking around with Fanny,
frolicking around the graveyard.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, this is where I was just like, damn, Jamie Fraser, damn. He's like, Ian's like, do you think the army's gonna let you leave? And Jamie's like, yeah, like I don't really give shit. And he
Yeah.
walks away, and I was like, Sam, you look fine. He
Yeah.
had like, it wasn't a uniform, but it wasn't like, sweatpants either. Like it was like a nice outfit. And he's just really, and that good wig,
Yeah.
it's all good. He's looking
Yes.
old. He's looking like age appropriate.
Yeah.
Um, he-
I didn't really notice the outfit, and now I'm like, ooh, I need to go back and watch that again. But you know what's so funny is that at the time, you know what I have written down? The fact that it was really neat to see the old tenant church, their rendition of it is the 18th century. So you have like some of the graves, but then it's all open fields and some hills.
right.
Now there's like a parking lot down there and a couple
There's
of
like a
buildings.
Walmart over there.
Yeah.
It's like, where? But here's what I want to know: where did they put all of the pews when they were like using it for a hospital?
Well, okay. I noticed that and I was like, because last week I was like picking on myself in that video that I made when I was like, exactly like it was in Outlander. And then I'm like, wait, though, in last week's Outlander, like no one was being put on the pews. There aren't any pews. And then last night, the pews are all back. And I was like, this really, really, really looks like old tenant. Like all the pews are original. So, oh my God, they did such an amazing job in production with that set. But yes, I was like, where have the pews been?
Well, I'm like, how do you get them out? Like, it's like pews today, like screw in, basically. I don't think they had like that kind of tools or whatever. Like, they probably hammered them all in, so they'd have to like pull them out. I guess maybe they didn't even hammer them. Maybe they're just like sitting there. I don't know. But
I
they
don't
had to like
know.
move them all out, and then who had to move them back in? Maybe they had a soldier do it or
I
something.
mean, I'm sure they had people doing that, but I also noticed, did you notice the stairway? It went up one flight and then sort of turned and went up another.
I feel like, yeah, yeah.
And when you're there, because I was sitting there, the women were talking, everything that came out of my mouth pretty much came out of these women's mouths, unless it was stuff that I'd already researched. And they were saying, they built this in the shape of a barn because that's basically what they knew how to build back then. So that's what that, but I noticed, I was like, yeah, but you got the stairs in the corner. And sure enough, they even had the stairs. Somebody must have gone and checked out. And those women who run Old Tenant had no idea. They
That's so
had
funny.
no clue. So, like, kudos, production at
Somebody must have
Starz.
gone. Somebody,
Yeah,
I mean, I need to listen to
yeah.
that. I need to listen to that podcast for last week because somebody must have gone there.
They
Somebody has
they
to take pictures of it.
absolutely, but this is what I'm saying is I'm kind of like the woman that I was speaking with pretty much is kind of running things right now. They don't have a pastor.
Hmm.
So I was just sort of like, like maybe they just sort of pulled what I not pulled, but did what I did, like just showed up.
Hmm.
Those women were lovely. Tracey, this was not the Catholic Church of our upbringing. Those women would have been like, what are you doing in here? You can't be in here. Meanwhile, those women at Old Tenant were like, come in. We'll give you a tour. Walk around. They were great. So maybe that happened. And maybe the Starz people just didn't even mention, they were just like, oh,
It
hey,
could
let's
be.
look
It
at.
could be. All right. Moving on, if we're ready. The British. We're back to the British camp. We go church camp, church camp, church camp for a
Cake
while.
or death, cake or death.
Okay, so Lord John, true to his word, quick like a bunny. He has all of the deets. Jane has signed a confession. She's gonna get hanged. And again, back to being America's dad. Lord John's like, "Do you love her?" Like to William.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love her awful. Yeah.
And William just doesn't like. William doesn't like. I did love this. Like William is a young guy. He doesn't like. No, he doesn't answer the question. He's just like, oh, there's something about her. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and Lord John. This is where I put like, I want a Lord John show. Just give me a Lord John show.
I'm telling you
Just
right now, somebody else today, I was with a bunch of women who have read/watched, and they were all like, I would watch anything he did.
Stars, I will subscribe to your channel, to your network for 5 years if you give me a Lord John show.
Oh my God.
I will subscribe. I will like put it in my will to just like after I go to just keep subscribing
Yes.
to your
Did,
channel if
did
you
you
give me
he-
a Lord John show.
did you hear how he said I don't recommend murder as a way of settling difficult situations? And I thought, oh, God bless you. And then he says, because it tends to lead to complications. Oh,
Not, but then he
oh.
was like, not as many as marriage.
Yeah.
So good. He also did report that Jane is being held at a meeting house near Colt's Neck. Now, I don't remember where the British camp is, but I
I
also
think
feel like Colt.
it's in, I want to say Spotswood, which is like near Sayreville. So it's not right, it's not Colts Neck.
Colt's Neck is pretty far south, like
Girl,
right?
girl, that's of all this entire season and my whole old tenant and Paoli Paoli, the one thing that jarred me when I heard it was Colt's Neck. She said, oh, they're holding her, whoever said it, he said it, whatever, at Colt's Neck. Do you know how many times a week I hear Colt's Neck in my life? I mean, it's, I live here. Like, it was
Oh,
so cool.
it's more where you live because I was thinking it was more South Jersey. I was thinking it's more like like Trenton or like Camden, like
No,
that,
it's
like
more,
down
it's,
farther.
no, Colt's Neck's near here. It's northwest of here.
Oh, all right. That makes more sense. That
But
makes way more sense.
it's Monmouth County. I mean, and
Okay,
it's
all
not
right,
out by Manalapan, Freehold. Colt's Neck's more, I was like,
right. So, and just for FYI, people, that the Old Town Church is also in Monmouth County. Like that's
yes,
right. Yeah. So
yes.
it's all. So that's a reasonable ride to go for William and Jamie later on to like go to Colts Neck from wherever it is they are.
Uh, I looked it up and I believe I wrote it down. It wasn't too bad. I think it was because I always look it up by bike ride because then I'm like, all right, it was
Hmm.
like 40 minutes, 45 minutes bike ride. So then I cut it down because it's horses and they're running and they can go straight shot instead of having to go
Right.
down
Right.
the
Right.
street.
Right.
So I was like, all right, 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. That's not bad. So that was another great scene. And William again, this is where I was just like, William, you're trying my patience, bro. Like William's just like, you think you know me, don't you? And I'm just like, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Remember the whole like he raised you thing, William?
Yeah.
William is so young. And like in the past episodes, his youngness has presented to me in a very innocent, naive kind of way. Now his youngness is starting to present to me the way it does in the books, which is like, love for God, William, shut up. Like you need when he I'm you're
I
trying my patience. I'm trying to be patient with you, but I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, you've had some time to digest all of this. Now we need to put our big girl panties on and start figuring out like maybe start seeing the fact that like people don't all hate us. People aren't all out to get us, you know.
yes, but I at first thought that like, oh, shut up, William. But then Lord John was kind of like, yes, I do. I thought I thought William might have been being a little sarcastic, cutesy with his father because he what did Lord John say that made him say that?
I don't even remember.
Um
Maybe the marriage thing. I don't know.
it was about helping. It was overall like something about helping people because I thought that's my second thought was, wait a minute, does William mean like you think you know me, don't you? Like, haha, like you know me. Like, yeah, you know me. And Lord John was like, yeah, I do. And the two of them had like a moment. And I was like, I don't know necessarily know that William means it like that.
I don't think William could be cutesy if he tried. William is many things. William is not cutesy. No.
Um, then how
William,
come Lord John answered it with a little bit of a, yeah, I know
because
you.
Lord John sees what's going. Lord John sees that William is just he's young. he's young. It's the same kind of thing where like your parents are like, you know, you're not gonna understand this right now, but like someday you'll understand that like, da 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 da. Like that's where Lord John is right now because he knows that like he's like William. Someday you'll understand, that yeah, I do know you better than you know yourself.
I think
And
I'm not
like,
gonna. I'd have to watch it again. I'm not going to agree to disagree. I'm just going to leave it there because I'm really not sure that that's what I think he meant.
all right, we're moving on. We are in the church. Claire has to pee.
Oh, I love this
Just,
scene so
okay,
much.
this scene was really great, but
Loved it.
okay. So they have a bucket going on. And she's like, "All right, I have to pee right now. Like, help me on the bucket, and then go away." And I was like, "Are you telling me, Claire Fraser, in 30 years of marriage, that you've never peed in front of Jamie before?"
She peed on him in the first night of their peed on him. Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
What did a jellyfish bite him?
Excuse me. She peed in the alcove of their room the night, their wedding night, because I remember reading it. She had to go make water, and I remember reading it and being like, God, like she just married him and she's got to go over there and tinkle, and he's hearing her tinkle.
Well, yeah, but like they have the sheet or whatever. Like it's not
Doesn't
like you're
matter,
just
you
like,
can hear that
but
tinkle.
but again, like it's been 30 years. Like I mean, like who out
She
there has peed in
wanted
front of their
her
spouse?
privacy.
Who out there has peed in front of their spouse in many years of marriage?
Listen, number one, yes, but Claire is coming at this from she is Claire Beecham Randall Fraser, whatever the frick. Uh, she is wanting a little bit of. She doesn't like being taken care of. She takes care of people. People
That's a
don't
good
take care
point.
of her. And
I'm gonna
she was like, all right, she knew like you have to grab the bucket for me, but then go. Like I can do the rest by myself. Like just go. And I love that
the independence thing is a good point.
he was like, no, shut the hell up. I loved
Um,
it. It was such, you guys, I was really proud of myself that I enjoyed it so much. It was such a lovely husband and wife scene. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It
yeah,
really was.
yeah. But that's why I was like, no, your response here with like she's very independent and she just wants something that she can do on her own makes a lot of sense to me because
Yeah.
this whole idea of like, oh Jamie, like turn your back, like go into the other room
Oh
because
no,
I
she doesn't
can't
give a
pee
shit.
in front of you.
Yeah.
Now I'm like Claire would have peed in front of Jamie, but at this point
If
in the
Claire could have
proceedings.
saved someone by peeing in front of Jamie, she would have peed all over Jamie.
No, 100%. But then I was also like, didn't they have a bedpan back then? Like the concept of a bedpan? Like I would think that that's not that hard. It's not that like, technological. You
Well,
take a
because
pan,
how'd she pee
you
when she
pee in it.
couldn't get out of the bed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, did
Yeah.
she, I mean, like maybe I could see if they're like, you need to get up to pee because you need to be getting up, like, and
Yeah.
starting to walk or whatever.
Well, that's
But
more of a
like,
20th century concept, I think.
well, I mean, like, maybe she would have like been like, yeah, it's important to just get up. I mean, whatever.
She knows
I don't
it's
know.
important to get up.
Right, 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 right.
I'm surprised she wasn't up and about in 2 days, taking care of people again.
I don't know. But then she does need to capture the PA because she needs to talk to check it for blood, which makes total sense.
Yes,
And I
and I
like this
have
whole
I
like I like that she's like, my kidney is hurting, so I'm afraid like she can diagnose herself and knows what to do, like figure out if there's a problem.
right.
Like I just really like that.
But there kind of was, right? I think they saw, wasn't there some blood in the pee?
No, there was no blood.
Oh, I took that as there was blood. I was cracking up that I would be more concerned with who else is in this church listening to me pee than my husband, but and I
Um,
love the candle. All right, bring the candle over here. Let's look at the pee.
because that's gonna help me, like, see red in the pig.
They don't have a
Um,
cell phone. They got to use the camera. I mean the candle.
this is like this episode is just so chock full of like Jamie and Claire discussions that it like, and I said this about last week too. That's just gonna leave all of the fandom like, you got plenty to like rewatch and think about and re-enjoy. Um, in this episode and in the last episode with in terms of like great Jamie and Claire conversations. And this one is another one. But basically, like the gist of it is Claire's like, can we just go home, please?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go back to the Ridge. I'm done. I'm done with
Right,
Philly.
right.
Um, yeah, I'm done. Um, so that was a great scene too. Okay, then we get to the church at night.
We've already hit this. I
I
think we've
know,
already
we've already
beaten this to
discussed this.
death.
We've already, yeah, look, there's someone behind the curtain. It's Master Raymond. Yeah, and I just said he's looking very like I couldn't decide whether he was looking very Luke Skywalker-y or vampire-y because he did look both of them.
It was weird.
He comes to ask for forgiveness. He kisses her hand. I did like the cutting between the present maybe because we're thinking it's a dream, maybe not, and the
Mm.
past. So he kissed her hand and she like immediately gets that like blue light and ring
Yes, yes,
thing that was
yes.
like from when he was like saving, doing whatever down under. Um, and then
It
and
was so
he was
weird.
like fixing her. And oh that yeah, I'm sorry, the other flashback is later on, but like basically he's like was this like she's like to Jamie the next morning like did you see anything? He's like no. So clearly it was a dream and my feeling, well I mean I guess we don't know, but my feeling is that if he was really there, unless he's like just super magical, like Jamie is gonna wake up and like Jamie Fraser like sleeps with his Dirk, at his feet, whatever. Jamie is, I mean, that's we know that about Jamie. Jamie is gonna wake, like nothing is gonna, not wake Jamie up. Particularly when he's basically like standing guard over Claire. If a real person came into that room, Jamie is gonna know about it. Jamie's gonna be up and Jamie's gonna be like, "What do you want?"
Right. Well, it's the whole mystical thing
So,
too. I mean, maybe he did come in her mind. She was
um,
wondering that the whole episode. Like, what the hell?
um, but I did like that, again, they have another great conversation the next morning, and Jamie, she's like, Master Raymond was here, but maybe it was a dream. And then they talk about, will I see faith when I die? And Jamie
Oh,
said, I know you will. It's what makes death easier to bear. And that's probably the point where I was like, Carol's like basically like,
yeah.
basically like, I need another
Yeah,
drink to watch this more.
that's why
Um,
Murtaugh said it doesn't
yeah,
hurt to
it
die.
doesn't hurt to
Oh,
die. Yeah.
believe me, I had a
Yeah, Carol, that's what I was
I
like,
gotta be
oh
honest with
my
you.
God,
I
just go back to the ridge and like, like
Yes,
farm.
I need to be done with this season on a personal level, and I'm sure many of you who've gone through things feel the same way. I'm done. I am more done than Claire and her bleeding or not bleeding kidneys at this point. I need to be done. Even the old tenant church, and no one loves the old tenant church more than me. I need to be done.
Oh boy. All right. Well, the scene that made me cry is next on the list, my
Oh
friends.
my God,
Lallybroch,
me too.
Roger and Buck. Who knew? Who
Loved it.
knew that a
Loved it.
Roger and Bree scene would make me like, but yes, sir. Yes, sir, Bob. Roger and Buck, leaving Lallybroch, and down the road, what do they see? Like, something like right out of The Shining, just like, small kid. Like, Jemmy seems to do that. Didn't he do that to Bree last week when she's in the car? He's like standing right there, and they're like, they almost hit her. Well, now it's Roger's turn, and they're like, get what? It's Jem. They run. Jemmy really is like between the last time Roger saw him and this time, which is like about 2 months, he's grown like a foot.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice
As
that.
tall as Roger. It was so funny.
I didn't even notice that.
But yo, I totally noticed it. But he's and Roger's like, well, where have you been? He's like, I've been with Mandy. He's like, huh? And there they are. And they just all run and they all like like they're a little the family again, and I'm like, ugh. And then Buck.
And first they show Buck's face, and you're feeling bad for Buck, And then Buck comes over and does one of these with them.
I know. He's part of the family. He's
Yeah.
part of the family.
Everyone
And he
needs a
like
Buck.
oops Mandy's nose or whatever.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just like the whole scene got me. It's just like, this is the first time we've seen them together all season, like since last season.
yes, 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 yes.
And I didn't realize like how much I missed Roger and Bree together. I can't believe I'm
right.
saying that, but like
I totally agree. It all hit me at once, and I am marveling over the fact that Bree and Roger are getting more of an emotional response out of me than anything else in this episode so far. Like,
100%.
oh, like, and don't get me wrong, Lord John and William were getting the emotional, Jamie and Claire, but this scene just absolutely, and I wasn't expecting that out of Bree and Roger. Oh my God, so amazing.
Right. And I had to watch, well, we didn't really get into this. Like I didn't I had to watch this. I had to watch the episode on actual Starz on the Starz app. So I watched this part. I'm on the elliptical. I'm literally like this on the elliptical, right? And this comes on, and I was just like,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. But I just love Buck's reaction so much. To this, he's just part of the family.
Love it.
All right, so we're back to the church. We spent a lot of time at the church in this episode. Ding dong, it's Lord John. Jamie is not around for some reason, even though he seems to be around all the time because he probably would have thrown out Lord John, but he did not because he's not there. So I like this little conversation with Lord John and Claire. But Lord John is like, you should be resting, my dear. And then you hear this like, didn't call her that.
Yeah.
And Lord John's like, okay, you should be resting, Mrs. Fraser. Yeah, super awkward. So Lord John catches Jamie up on they found William. It's all good. It's fine. There's, then the two of them were like, oh, well, I didn't think you were here to talk about like all that other stuff. Like, well, now. And at one point they just like cut to Claire and she's like literally like this. So good.
Loved it. Like, she's Mother Nature and they're heat miser and snow miser. And I have to say, I'm always a little uncomfortable when it's to them, they just mention it. I think it's just me being sensitive, but like about William being, when Jamie will be like, thanks for, taking care of thanks for finding William, like, thanks for finding my son, whatever. I don't know. It's just that whole like, and he said, I have a vested interest in him myself, like, and I have go Lord John, stand up for yourself. Like, pipe down, Jamie. Like, yeah, he's your son, but come on now. He's his son too.
Whatever happened to go find our son?
Like it.
Whatever happened to that from last episode or the episode before, whatever.
Yeah, because whenever they get into the son conversation, I always find it uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you got to watch this up. You got to watch the scene and just watch Claire because she's just like, I've had it. I've had enough. But Claire,
and James like pouting.
Yeah. When Claire's like, I never properly thanked you for saving our lives, and Lord John's like, you saved my life as well, and Jamie's like,
when he said that, I thought,
I know. Jamie just needs to shut up. Much like William, Jamie, you need to shut up and stop being annoying.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
I don't know why I thought this like out of the blue here, but I wrote it down here. And maybe it's because in my mind, the primary relationship on this show is Claire and Jamie. And the next most important relationship on the show is Jamie and Lord John.
On the show or like on the series or on the season?
All of it. All of it. All of it.
Oh.
All of it. I mean, I suppose you could say like Roger and Bree. No.
Jamie and Bree?
No. I think that Claire and Jamie and Lord John and Jamie are, and I mean, Claire, if you drew a diagram, it would be obviously like Claire and Jamie are like the top one. But like maybe Roger and Bree. No, I don't know. in my head, in my mind,
Mm.
the relationship between Jamie and Lord John is the second most integral relationship. Maybe Jamie and William. I feel like Jamie and Bree know because they really didn't have. Yes, they have a relationship, but like her life was already so built by the time she met him, and Roger is such an integral part of her life that I don't see the Jamie Bree relationship as more significant than like Roger Bree, for example. But I see the Jamie Lord John relationship as second only to Claire and Jamie in terms of importance in the series, book and TV. So what I wrote down was, and I know you haven't finished book 9 yet. Um, but I don't know that you can say that like clearly after season 7, their relationship is far from resolved, right? I'm not sure that it's resolved yet in the books as well. So my thought was, here's what I wrote down. I thought, will the last season end with a cliffhanger that they'll need a final movie to resolve? Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, I'm sorry, but like, wouldn't it be great for season 8 to end with a cliffhanger, and then you find out that everyone signed on for a movie?
Like Downton.
Like Downton, exactly, exactly. How great would that be? That would be so awesome. But yeah, you still haven't resolved the second most important relationship in the series, book, TV, Jamie and Lord John.
Mm.
It's my hot take of the
I
day.
like it.
So,
I like it.
I have to sneeze, but like, we'll see if I do it. I still sort of do, but like, all right, whatever. Okay.
Claire is dressed.
Then there's Claire and yes, Claire opens the curtains. Denzel comes in. They have a nice little chat. It's hard to operate on people that you know, that you love.
Oh, he
It's your
never wants to
family.
do that again.
I know, I know. I love Denzel.
Love Denzel.
I wish that Dottie was around. I just wish. I wish. I wish. I wish. I wish. Okay. Now we're back at Lallybroch. This scene was really weird. I'm sorry, it was really weird, and I don't know why.
Especially considering the prequel they're about to do. They had just shown, like I had just seen an ad for the prequel when the prequel is showing Ellen as having flaming red hair and Brian as having this like dark hair. And then the next thing I know, I'm watching this and Jamie's father's got red hair. And I'm like, all the hair colors, I'm confused.
No, no, it wasn't that. I mean, yes, agreed. Like,
That's just a tiny little observance.
here's what I felt like. I felt like it was two different, like, I feel like Bree is still, her mindset is still too much in the future to be having a conversation like this with
In
someone
the
super
future.
in the past.
Um,
Like
yeah,
her responses and her demeanor in my head
we're
were
too,
very contemporary,
yes.
and her and his were of his time, and hers, she's not yet like used to being back in the future. I mean, in the past. I don't know. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just weird. I don't know.
You're
It's
not
just,
weird. I had a super hard time with this scene. What are you kidding me? Like this man is devastated and missing his wife.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
there was that.
Bree looks exactly like her, and Bree can't say, I'm your granddaughter. I look like her because and that's another thing in the books, they make a big deal about how Bree looks so much like Ellen. And there's a portrait of Ellen, which they
Right,
mention, and that
which didn't
Bree
look
looks,
anything like Bray.
I know that's very interesting. But in the books, it was like, oh my God. So I did like the fact that they addressed that Jamie's father was like, even if to us sitting here watching it, we're like, really? I don't think she looks too much like her.
Well,
But
this is the
he
other
got the
thing.
point across.
Like, it was weird because, like, she's looking at the picture, and assuming that they've met at this point, like, right? Like, Roger and Buck went back with like, look, we found them all, and at that point, he probably was like, holy fuck, sorry, holy shit, like, who is this woman? Is this Ellen, like, come back to life? Oh no, it's just Bray. Like that's where he's gonna have the whole like, oh my God, she looks exactly like Ellen. And he sort of had it in this conversation where by
Okay.
this point it would be more like, like, oh, Bree, you keep freaking me out because you look just like Ellen. But like it wouldn't be like this, like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was kind of like, is this the first time he's seeing her? No, it can't be because
Okay.
you wouldn't know who she is. Like
Uh,
it was the whole thing was just weird. I don't know.
it was a little weird. I thought he was very forward and detailed with her about his Lord of Mercy on her dead wife. But
Mm-hmm.
now my brain, for anybody out there who just noticed the light bulb come on over my head, Bree in book 3 or 4, in season 3 or 4, came back and was looking for Jamie at Lallybroch, but it was later because Jenny was there, and Jenny was a grown woman with a husband and kids. And Bree came to Lallybroch and like, I don't know, sometimes I change stuff, so I don't know if this really happened, but she had like dinner with them or something, I don't know.
She
But now
did. She
I'm
did.
but Jenny met Bree because they in their little conversation, Brian and Bree, she said something about meeting Jenny, who was young, right? Jamie's at university and Jenny is older or
We
younger
don't
than.
see any this none of this is in the books.
But did it
None of this is in
okay,
the
but
book.
didn't
But
Bree
but Bree
say
did meet Jenny, but again, that was Jamie's, that was the normal timeline. Bree met Jenny when Bree went through the stones looking for Claire.
yes, now stop. Now, yes, 100%, books ago, seasons ago.
Hmm.
But in last night's conversation, I thought they something was said about Jenny being there and being young, like being younger than Jamie. Like Jamie's off at
Yeah.
university and Jenny.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
if Jenny met Bree as a young woman, wouldn't she have remembered Bree when the same looking girl showed up on her
Yes.
door years later?
Here's what I've written down. Wouldn't that conversation change the course of history in some way?
I have thought that this season more than any. Like, but wait a minute, like stuff with Roger. Didn't Roger that couple weeks ago send his father back through the stones and say, "Think of my mother"? So if his father came back in through the stones and found the mother, Roger never would have been raised by.
Well, they explain that I can't I'm not even I don't even want to go into that because I don't remember enough about that, but that is explained that how all that worked out. This Brian Bree discussion does not happen in the books, and the reason, if I'm remembering correctly, is that you see the reunion between Roger and Bree and the kids, and then you don't see them anymore. Like you don't know. It's they don't say like they go back to Lallybroch. I don't think you don't see them anymore. A whole bunch of other stuff goes down with Jamie and Claire and them.
That's what I was wondering if this came out later that Bree just sort of told Claire.
I don't think that this Brian Bree conversation happens. And I think to your point and kind of to my point, it kind of can't happen because you're right. She would meet Jenny. She would meet like,
When
what,
Jenny
like
was younger.
17-year-old Jenny,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then she would, but she wouldn't. Now we're getting into like time traveler's wife thing
And
where
then
like the
and
time
then
travel is
Jenny
happening
20
like
years
this.
later, 20 years later, the same looking girl. I mean, they live in 18th century Scotland. It's not that exciting. She would remember this same girl was here 20 years ago at the same age.
Right,
Anyway, you're
right,
right. We could do
right.
this all night. So,
I know, but it just, I thought that the stuff Brian said was great, but then like, Bree would come out with like, oh, look, Brian, Brianna, like it's the same. And I was just like, what? Like, it was a weird scene to me. It was a weird scene. Um, Brian had some good stuff to say. You could have been a daughter of ours. I just like, yikes. Like, okay, granddaughter maybe, but like, okay, whatever. It's
I,
him talking about like he never changed the locks because
I wrote it down. In grief, some folk find a way to close the door to their hearts, but mine is still wide open, and memories come unbidden even after all this time. And I was sitting there like, me too, Bri, wide open.
mhm. All right, we need to keep this moving because I'm like smelling dinner being made downstairs. So, okay.
I wish I was smelling dinner being
I
made. I
know,
gotta go
right? You're
make
just
it.
okay. So we're back at the church. Claire's getting better because she's back in her stays and there's like flirty dialogue going on. So like,
Yes.
they're about an hour away from like a nice big sex scene right there.
Ooh.
They're ready. They're ready. Claire's ready. Knock knock, it's William. And he needs Jamie's help.
Oh yeah.
And again, like I'm like, William is rather bitchy. He's just like, basically William's like, I need your help, sir, like yada yada. And Jamie like asks one question, I don't even remember what it is, but he says like one thing, and William's like, no, no, let's go myself. It's just like,
He's still
William,
mad. Give him a
I
break. Look at
know.
everything he's been through.
I know he is, but
His
he's
whole
like
world has been
just
turned upside down, and all of these people have been lying to
I
him.
know, but we're like 2 months into this now. Like, I mean, again, like there's no timetable for resolving when like you like learn that like your father is not your father, but it's really the groom from when you were 5.
Yeah, he's
But
still, that as a child was very traumatic for him when Jamie left and they were so close.
I know,
You
I get it,
know?
I get it, I get it. But like, Jamie was like, and I liked how Jamie's super matter of fact here. William's like, oh, I'll just go do myself. And Jamie's like, yeah, if you could do it yourself, you wouldn't have come to me. So no. And then so
So get on the horse.
Jamie goes back into Claire. He's like, I gotta go. My son has never asked me for anything. Uh, um, so yeah, they're like, all right, fine. Yeah,
I laughed when he's telling her that William needs him, and Claire's like, go, go. And all I can think of is, do you want to stay in that church by yourself at night after Jamie and William take off? Because I don't. But I do
maybe Denzel
know
is around.
what?
Maybe Denzel is around at this point.
Let's hope so.
I don't know. All right, so now we see the jail
Oh,
or the meeting house, wherever. Someone at least has given her a bottle of something so that she can ease the pain a little bit. And we see all the lights in the sky, and she's waving to them, but you don't really know why yet.
why, right?
Then William and Jamie show up. Jamie does the old trick that Bree showed him about how to like break the window without like, cutting
Yeah.
yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like William was like, where'd you learn that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Okay. My dad like knows a cool thing. Um, so they take out the guard, they get the keys, William finds Jane, and she is lying on the floor, has slashed her wrists, and has not survived that. And this is very sad. And this is a great scene in the book. And it was a great scene here. William's just like, I can't leave her like this. And they put her in the bed, they take the cuffs off, you know. Jamie thinks to cut a lock of her hair for
Yeah,
Fanny,
that was
which
good.
is nice.
Yeah.
And I just love
This is
what William says here. He's like, I just wanted to save you, Jane. Forgive me. Like he's taking this on himself. Like he's taking this as a personal failure of that he couldn't do enough for her. And like you could talk about like why that's so important to him at this point in his life. I mean, is he in love with her? He wasn't able to answer that question. But like, was it important for him to save someone? Like what would if he were able to save her, does that help him save himself as well? Like he's just he this was such a big important thing for him to do, as much for himself as for her, I think. So
I think he just loves her and didn't even know it. And is devastated. And this is where I have written down that he's Job. He is the new
Mm.
Job.
Yep, he's the new Job. William is the new Job. Okay. Back at the church. I feel like I said that like 30 times in this recap. Back at the church. So Jamie tells Claire what happens. And then William brings Fanny to the church. And it was just so cute when he's like, just takes her hands, like, poor Fanny. Oh, Jamie and Claire meet her. This is where Claire just excels. Claire's really good with like calming, like,
Yeah.
when she
Calling her
says sweetheart.
sweetheart. Yes. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
God.
you're
I just
seeing it
about
from
lost
Fanny's
it.
point of view of like
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
my sister's gone, my mother's gone, I'm a little kid, and then Claire
These are
comes
all
over,
strangers and
sweetheart.
then
Yeah.
sweetheart. And like
Yeah.
nobody's called her sweetheart. Like
Right.
nobody since her mother, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Um So okay, so then yeah, Jamie's like, you can come and live with us on the ridge, which is all, really nice. And what I wondered is like when Jamie says you can come and live with us on the ridge, is that's for William, right? Like he wouldn't like Jamie's come across a lot of strays in the past, but he's not like inviting them to come live in the ridge.
Okay.
This is for William. Like do you think there's
I,
merit in that?
I don't
Like
understand what you're saying.
if it wasn't for William,
Oh, that Jamie wouldn't ask Fanny to come?
yes.
Oh, you can't even, I wouldn't even mull that one over.
No, I mean this is like, yeah, I mean like Jamie's come across a lot of strays, a lot of people who, are lost or whatever, but like this is for William. This is
I don't think it matters. I really don't. I
uh,
didn't think of that, and I don't even want to think of that. Bottom line, like, I don't want to think that Jamie wouldn't ask poor Fanny to come live with them if it wasn't for
well,
William.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because I feel like, I guess he did with Fergus. I guess he took Fergus in to live with them. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just thought like this is what he's doing this for William as much as for Fanny.
Right.
Um, and William wants to have Jane buried decently. So then he and Jamie, he says, I have something else to talk about or whatever.
And
And
this
Claire
is
knows what's
where,
coming.
and
Claire knows what's coming.
this is where I get steamed.
Claire knows what's coming. She's like, "Oh, Fanny, here, let's go outside. I'll show
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
all like I don't know. There's nothing
Uh-huh.
outside, but let's go anyway."
Yeah.
And then they have the talk. Um, And basically, William's like, "How was I born?" You know. I liked the scene. I liked how Jamie really stressed the goodness in Geneva. Because William is like, she's like this and that and I was told that she was like headstrong and bratty or this or that, whatever he said. And Jamie was like, he turned it all around. So he took all of these words that William used and took other words that had a positive connotation. So instead of headstrong, which is a sort of negative word, said confident or self-assured or whatever. And, you know, good on Jamie because like Geneva was a real bitch to him. Like if you recall, you
Do I
know,
recall?
Geneva like made his life a living hell. And so he is willing and able to, stand in front of William and be like, your mother was a good person. She was a good person. Um, and he did not, their liaison was before the marriage. Jamie feels guilty. And this was just like, oh my God, this is so good. Jamie's like, I feel guilty every day of my life. I will do penance every day of my life for it. But am I sorry about it? No. And he does the like little like hand touching thingy, like very tentatively, but he does it. Um, and I loved, oh my God, the flashback to young Willie saying goodbye to Mac the groom.
Yeah. Oh, love, needed it. Needed
Oh
it.
Lord, so good, so good. And then William's
Um,
all like, I'll never call you father. Bye. And I just wrote
and
down, William, you are such a child.
okay. Jamie, the look on Sam Hewen's face, that to me was, you would say, a slow golf clap. One look said everything. The hurt in his eyes when William said that. It was all about the eyes when William said that. He was just so hurt. Not saying that he was like, you have to call me dad, but oh my God, he was so punched in the gut at that comment. But I do have to say, I was very conflicted at this conversation because, of course, Jamie's not going to be like, oh, yeah, your mom, she made me do it. She blackmailed me. She was going to get me,
Right.
you know, like punished or maybe even killed if I didn't do it. But I felt like he took too much on himself. She's gone. He's here. They could potentially have another. How old is Jamie? Another 30 years of a
Hmm.
relationship, possibly, potentially. And he took so much on himself that, he looks bad. And, like you took advantage. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
at least they weren't married, but you took advantage and had your way with my mother. And, right before she was getting married, and like, you're a pig dog, basically. And I was conflicted because I was like, A, I don't like that because they could potentially have a relationship and you're taking so much on you and just being like, the mother wasn't a saint. But at the same time, I still haven't resolved in my head how he could have or should have worded everything to make himself look a little better, how he could have explained it to not diss his mother, but to still come out looking a little bit better than, sorry, I took advantage of your mother right before she got married. Like, I don't know. I had a hard time with that because this is something I say in my life. This is something that I say from time to time. Jamie is here. She is not. She is gone. Jamie's the one who could potentially have a relationship with William. Don't make him hate you. Don't make him think you're gross. Don't make him think you took advantage of his mother and you just had your way with her. Like, come up with something other than
But
that.
I don't know that I agree with you there, if I'm hearing what you're saying correctly. I mean, I think William's the one that was like, look, I've seen pictures of the eighth Earl of Ellesmere. Like, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
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 I get it.
yeah,
I get the drill.
right.
So I don't know that William was like, look, I don't think Jamie was making himself look bad. I thought he was making himself look very good because he was not saying that like, I think William is a bit of a child, but he's not stupid. And it's just like what he said. He gets more or less what happened here. And Jamie put a very good spin on Geneva's motivations and her and what it was about her personality that I don't even know what I want to say here. Like just all of the positive aspects, all not even the positive aspects, because they're the same aspects. When William is like, you know, they say she was yada yada yada. Jamie's like, no, she was yada yada yada. Well, the yadas are exactly the same qualities, just in different words. William says words that are negative. Jamie says words that are positive.
Right, but they're not having anything to do with what happened that night. They were just her in general. She was courageous, she was brave, whatever the hell he said. And again, I'm not arguing with the way it was done. I'm just saying it cut me. It bothered me that Jamie took one for the team because he couldn't tell
Mm-hmm. All
William.
right.
You
Okay.
know what I
Fair.
mean? And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but guess what? You're here, she's not. You're the one who he has to could maybe have a relationship with. You could do some good in life. You could have that, not maybe not father son, but if you make him think that you just took advantage of his mother, then he's not going to want to.
Well, do
But
you
I
want him
don't
to
know what
say
the answer is because he can't be like, yeah, your mother was not a hoe, but your mother was, your mother
your
took
mother
advantage of
blackmailed
me.
me? Yeah.
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 Yeah, your mother took advantage of me and he can't say that.
I don't know what Jamie could have done differently. And I
I
think
don't
that
I don't know either.
in the position he was in and what he had to work with in terms of what he could tell William, I
Yeah.
thought he did the best he could do.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did and it just affected me that Because like I know I'm beating this into the ground. Jamie is the one who is here that you could have the relationship with. She's not here. Again, I'm not saying dance on her grave, but all right, let's move on.
And he never knew her. He never knew her at all. I mean, his parents really were um Lord John and Isabel. You know, Geneva is like a picture in a frame to him. He never knew her. She died when he was born,
And
I
if he
think,
looked at
right?
if he looked at yeah, he died. Yeah, she died. If he looked at the picture of the Lord Ellesmere or whatever the hell his name was and was like, ew, was he also like, I don't look a damn thing like you?
Good call. All right, moving on. We go to the graveyard where Jane is buried, and we're not sure which grave it is. Would it be? So I read this somewhere. Somebody, maybe it was Karen. I don't know. Somebody said like, wouldn't if she was buried just buried there, wouldn't it be all dug up and like you know newer than the other ones? I don't know.
I
Like I
took
think
it
it's a
to
good point.
I took it like they were all pretty fresh because of the battle.
Yeah, could be, could be.
Oh, seeing
Fanny's
her
so
run
good.
through those graves from that, oh God, this
I
scene
know.
was beautiful.
I know. She's so good. She's so good. Claire's. I just read. I laughed at Claire and the gray wig. They're like basically like, all right, Katrina, gray wig today.
Yeah,
We're graying you up. We're
yeah,
graying you up.
yep.
Um, Fanny is just so good. I don't know the girl's name, and I will try to find out for next season. But she's like crying, and she's like, "It's my fault he's gone," and she's like really crying. And I don't know how old this girl is, like 11.
I don't
Oh my
know.
God, she's so good.
Amazing. Yeah.
Um, and they have a nice little conversation. Claire's like memories are the things that keep people alive. Fanny talks about their mother used to take them to see the dragonflies. I was like, is it like the circus or like when you go to the butterfly museum? Like, where are you going to see these dragonflies? Aren't they just everywhere? But like whatever. And Janie would hold them and she'd let me pet the wings. Um, and then that's where we hear about the 100,000 angels and like, it's the lights in the sky. And if you
Yeah.
wave, they carry you off. And now we
Yeah.
understand why Jane waved.
Yeah.
She has Jane's belongings that Jamie gave her, including a locket of her mother that says Faith. Dot, dot, dot.
Hmm.
Okay.
That Claire thinks is very peculiar.
I'm gonna just like blitz through this a little bit because
Yeah, let's.
yeah.
Let's.
All right. We have a scene with Ian. Oh, but they're okay. We have a scene with Ian and Rachel. They're talking about going to the ridge. Well, we could go. It's hard work, or we could stay, whatever. And Rachel's like, well, is the ridge a good place to raise a family? And he's like, no. She's like, yeah. She's like, no. She's like, yeah. So, like, yes, they're having a baby. And this was very cute. You know what?
Yes.
Me, who's dissed on Ian and Rachel all season long, I thought this scene was adorable.
It was
Like,
nice.
very cute.
It was
Very cute.
nice.
Then
But as
Ian wakes up.
always, his reactions about he and Rachel are a little less than his reaction about continue.
He wakes up. Rollo, I mean, like, couldn't you just close the dog's eyes? Everyone has to die with their eyes
I didn't
open in
like
this
it.
episode.
I didn't like it. I thought, why did you leave that dog's eyes open?
I know, like when it's like you're gonna be able to tell that Rollo has is no more. Like you don't
Yeah.
need the open eyes to do it.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's quite a big reaction from Ian.
Holy cow. More
He,
so than I'm carrying your child.
well, more so than like I mean, we didn't see how Ian react when he first heard about old Ian, but
Right.
again, I mean, Rollo has been his companion for like since season 4, right? And maybe this is just manifesting like all of the grief that he's had over the years,
Oh,
whatever.
100%. Yes. He's
Um,
devastated.
and I do like that he said, he waited until you, Rachel, were here for me, like that
Right.
he knew that I was not going to be alone.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it was nice. It was nice.
Right.
All right, we're back at Lallybroch. Roger and Bree are, starting to get a little busy, I guess. But like Roger's like, I'm going to kill that Rob Cameron. And they're basically the point here is like they don't know what to do. They're like, well, we have a good life in 1980. Do we go back there? Or, but they both know. It's like, well, I miss my parents, and like, this is when we belong. Like,
Right.
so,
Right. It's
Lallybroch.
not where we belong, but when.
It's when, right, right. So we're picking up the where they're packing up. I did like that. It was funny. Rachel goes to pick up some big thing, and Ian's like, and she's like, "Oh, sorry," and he picks up the big thing. I was like, was that a thing like 200 years ago that like pregnant women shouldn't lift stuff?
I would think so. That's a great question. I will look that up.
I was like, no, I think that Rachel would pretty much like still be dragging around whatever because like that wasn't a thing, but
I
who
don't
knows?
know.
Um, Okay, so Claire goes to get Fanny, and we've pretty much broken this down already. She hears her singing about the seaside. Claire's like, "Where did you hear that song?" And you see, and they're cutting between her, like Faith like Claire singing it to the baby Faith, and she's like, "My mother sang it to me," and Claire says to Jamie, "I think Faith lived." Dun
Ah,
dun dun.
and then I go,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
did
like
not
this.
like it.
I don't like
I
this.
did not like it, Sam. I am.
Dinner.
No.
Dinner.
I didn't like Faith and Ham. I didn't like Sam I am.
Exactly.
Um yeah, I mean we've hashed that out, I think. It's too much. It's too much. I think we could get to this whole like mystery about Fanny without having this big whole Faith thing. And that's all I got for you. Carol, that said, I feel like we're ending on sort of a negative Nancy note.
Right.
But this, I'm gonna say, like, boy, season 7, part 2, possibly the best season of Outlander.
Um, absolutely loved it. And interestingly enough, I told you I was with the girls today at a baby shower, and they were in agreement. Nancy down the street was like, this is absolutely the best season. Like everybody loves this season.
Yeah,
So kudos to all the production team.
yeah, yeah. This season is the one you gotta watch. It's just great. Um, I'm really looking forward to next season. We'll see if it's in 2025. I'm starting to think maybe it is going to be in 2025.
Let's hope
I
so.
really hope Starz, please do not schedule it around the holidays next year.
Oh my God, I know.
This
Please,
year, you know
Lord.
what? Started like right about now of 2026. Like that's great. There's always nothing going on like right after the holidays.
Right.
People are looking for something to do. Give us 10 episodes of Outlander then. Like no holidays. Thank you. No,
Hey,
no,
how
no.
about, hey, isn't it filmed already? How about the summer? Let's go.
Well, no, that's Blood of My Blood, and we have to figure out if we're going to be watching that or I don't know that. I mean, I'm doubting a recap every week, but maybe we'll do like a couple of things. But that we
I'm
have
not
like
doing a
3 minutes,
recap every
2 minutes,
week.
2 minutes left. That says that sort of transitions to like what will we be doing during Droughtlander. And I like we can't stay radio silent. This past Droughtlander was tough for a bunch of reasons, but like I promise you guys, it's my New Year's resolution. I promise you guys we will be around more than we were last time around.
I promise you guys, Tracey will be around more than she was last time. I promise nothing. Are you kidding me? I am so
We will make interim videos. We'll make Droughtlander videos this time around. We
well,
didn't do it last time.
now that I'm TikTok famous, I might need to start making some more TikToks.
And now that TikTok is back, you guys.
And if you haven't watched, go back on TikTok. Tracey did a Polly video. And if you haven't seen Old Tenant, go watch that because they were fun.
They're all over the place, whatever. All right, you guys. We have a minute to go because we're
Yes.
on this Zoom and I have to go eat dinner.
Same, girl.
It's been great. It's been like this has been a great season. Ups and downs and all arounds. Thank you for joining us on the ride. Please, we are on all the things. Let's get those TikTok numbers up. TikTok numbers up. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We're on all the places, all the things. hit us up there, give us a follow. We love you guys. You are the best. We appreciate you so much. We will stay in touch. I promise. I'll make Carol do it.
Everything Tracey just said, and we will definitely see you guys in Droughtlander.
Okay. Love
Okay?
you. Mwah,
Love you
mwah,
guys.
mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.